We don't have, I'll try to do it as quickly.
Okay, the time
And
is
then
6:30.
SYC, we've only have 10, so
We'll call
we'll try to,
Time is 6:30.
you know what? I know what time it is.
Apparently you don't.
We'll call the work session of the mayor and council for the city of Snellville to order. Just announcing, Roger Marmel won't be here at the meeting tonight. We'll go through the regular business meeting agenda first. We've got the invocation by Melvin Everson, pledge to the flag by Chad Livesey. We've got a proclamation for recognizing Chad Livesey. And then we've got a proclamation for Miss Black Georgia, USA, and Black Girl Magic Day. And Courtney Buchanan, is it Buchanan?
Well, I don't know.
Okay.
Communicated
She's
via
supposed to be here tonight to accept that. And of course, we've got the minutes, got some board committee meeting reports, Board of Appeals. You know Marcy's gonna be here? Yes. Got the Arts Commission, is anybody gonna be here from Arts Commission?
I haven't heard. I would assume Chris will be.
And Kelly's here.
You don't have to worry about liver. You have to worry about liver.
Okay, so the public hearing, we've got the second reading for PH 1330 LLC and Pinehurst LLC. We did have some discussion in our last work session. I just want to make sure that whoever might make a motion on that in the draft, we just need to be aware of the conditions and variances that are in the draft ordinance if your motion is going to reference the ordinance, to make sure that everybody's on the same page with what's in here.
No, I did get confirmation today from Gwinnett County that the plan for the light was approved today.
Oh, that's good.
Okay.
For that LED light.
Yeah, for the
Warning
entering the
sign,
highway,
right.
the applicant's gonna present that plan tonight.
Okay. So that was condition number 12.
Yeah.
And what do we have on the setback?
It's listed
22 feet.
22.
Now, I got a question, and I think you may have addressed this in the work session. I don't mean to point at you.
That's fine, keep going.
But it seems like we had an issue. On condition number 23, it's on page 5 of the ordinance. It says, lots 1 through 26, all driveways shall be a minimum of 22 feet in length, measured from the front door of the garage to the leading edge of the sidewalk. But then when we get over to the variances, number 3, it's allowing for a reduction in front yard building
Yeah.
setback from 40 feet to the right-of-way line to 20 feet.
Yeah, well, that could be the front door. The garage would have to be recessed backwards
Okay,
past that. So the
Okay.
garage is specifically called out, and so you could still have where the garage is set back 2 feet further than the front door or the porch or whatever extends into the frontmost setback, so
okay,
it would have been
Okay,
20 feet.
yeah, I had that
as
circled
that
too.
language. So that's still fine, it doesn't cause any issues with cars or anything.
okay. So do y'all wanna run through the conditions and variances real quick that are in the ordinance?
The
Or
only ones that
are you okay?
changed were the last two, I think. Number 22 and 23. And number 22 came from discussion during the planning commission in which I think the Ellises, I can't remember their names, they were concerned that there'd be a building built close to their property. And then once it was in the rear yard, you know, accessory structures only have to be 10 feet away, so we made sure that that was also 25 foot for any sheds or anything like that.
Okay,
So then, and then number 23 was added as a result of the concern over the sidewalk.
okay,
And those were the only two that changed. And then number 12 has now been confirmed, the design has been confirmed and approved by Gwinnett County.
okay.
And when their plan is submitted, we'll we can tie it to the conditions. as part of the application.
One other thing we mentioned last time was, they were going to cut back the vegetation on Pinehurst.
Right.
And we talked about
We'll just
landscaping the entrance. Will that be part of the landscape plan
Yeah,
that
we'll
will have
just
to be
make sure that
submitted?
under site development, that we make sure that there's nothing that
So that would
intrudes and, yeah, we'll
be
handle
covered in number 14?
There was something that addressed it.
I thought it
Well,
was
I mean,
maybe
we could
number
just cover that under our
14,
typical
where it
plan
talks
review.
about street frontage landscaping where the development abuts Pinehurst. Is that,
Well, this is just for a master covenant, so it's not necessarily applicable, but we'll make sure during the plan review process that it gets taken care of, or if you wanna add something in there, I mean, your concern is that that it doesn't just remain untreated.
I just don't want it to be just cut vegetation. I want it to be landscaped
Oh, we'll make
and
it
with
part of the
low-growing
landscape strip.
shrubbery
Yeah.
or whatever.
I agree, yeah,
Yeah.
it'll be part of the landscape strip anyways, if it's on the front of Pinehurst per code. So
Okay.
they won't be allowed to just cut it, it'll be part of that 10-foot landscape strip that abuts Pinehurst. And then on the
Okay,
corner
so we
side-
don't really need to address
No,
that then in the
I'll just
meeting.
make sure that there's no trees or anything that obstruct the site view or something. We won't create a problem.
Okay.
What about lots 27 to 29? It says all utilities shall be placed underground for lots 1 through 26.
Which number is that, Dave?
That is number 6.
Oh, that's basically for the underground, like, when you run power into a new subdivision, everything goes underground. But that's not possible on Sycamore because the power is already overhead. So they would be able to utilize that.
And you just come off the
Right,
existing
come
power
off the
line?
Poles, right, which is typical of that kind of development.
Okay, and then where,
And it's the same on number 16 in
16 is
connecting to
the
yeah,
sewer.
right.
Septic.
And which number pertains to future development of 27, 8, and 9? I'm not,
18, talking about the exemption from the curb and gutter.
DOT regulations.
yeah, but it doesn't mention anything about the homes and what they should. What
I
they-
guess that would be, 16
Well,
has
the
to
rest
do
of the
with,
conditions apply unless they don't specifically leave them out. So these conditions about material types and everything it will apply. The only things that won't be applied are ones that specifically are left for exemptions, like them being part of the HOA and, them being required to put in curb and gutter, and those are specifically called out, so everything else.
sanitary sewer.
Yeah, but we don't, where do we say that? I'm just concerned, they come in 2 years from now and they put up some shacks and say, oh, we didn't know.
Well, these conditions are applicable to the entire site, which is encompassed in that, 11 point something acres? So unless there's an exception, right, Chuck, that's written in to exclude
Okay.
them, then they're automatically included, because they're part of the zoning action. By default, they're,
Yeah, I thought I saw a condition at some point that said that specifically mentioned those lots and said they had to comply. I thought I saw that previously.
we do for some of them, but, we didn't apply the sidewalk to them, the definition of sidewalks. there.
Right.
The 22 foot. So, that's the only one outside of the exception for, curb and gutter and then the sewer requirement.
Okay,
Okay,
I guess.
Yes,
everybody as good as you're gonna get on that one?
Yeah,
good deal.
so we have knockdown shacks in there.
No,
Blame me.
It's Jason's fault.
down shacks.
Okay, then we have 2 first readings on some text amendments. So we're gonna, I guess on the first one, what's the special requirements on business and driving schools? What are our concerns with them
Well, the
having not been in?
issue is not necessarily, the problem with them being involved in the office professional district is basically the way the ordinance is written. Specifically, it's kind of addressing those two properties on the North Church, the Pickron, or the old Pickron property, and the one next to it. They just recently got DOA approval to improve the properties. But currently, anything listed as a school is not allowed anywhere in the DG district. So because it's very specific in use of the word school, we feel like that use is very compliant with the area, and it would be fine there and in most other office professional districts. But our office professional ordinance is very specific as to what it allows as permitted uses and conditional uses. So this, instead of, basically having to rezone those properties and then the rest of the ones in the city that it may be applicable to, we just introduced a text amendment instead to allow those uses in all of the key districts under those, basically those regards.
Is that gonna be a problem for us in, like, a driving school wanting to set up? Because to me, a driving school says you're gonna need parking area where they can be instructing.
Well, most of these driving
Parking.
schools is more like DUI classes.
Okay,
They have very few cars, 2 or 3 cars, so they still have to meet the parking requirements as set forth in the code as well. So they're not gonna, they're gonna go into a place that's already overparked, we're not gonna allow it.
but not parking so much as just having the space if they're doing driving lessons.
Yeah, but most,
know what I mean?
that doesn't normally happen
Happen
on
there.
site,
Okay.
I mean, if you ever watch it, sometimes they're in Snellville, you'll see London in there, but most of the time they take them on the road. They don't do a lot of instruction on the premises anymore,
Okay,
for the most part, I don't see it.
okay.
I mean, they're
Start
gonna be
off
limited by
big
their
parking
parking
lot,
anyways, so I mean, they can't
like
really
we
do
did.
anything in a small parking lot, so.
Okay.
That's the reason for that one, that's really just a patch until we can fix it all.
Okay. Anybody have any other questions on that one? And then the other text amendment, being for the portable accessory structures.
Yeah, and that's basically just the code enforcement officers, officer of the floor, officer Marine, really just asked for some legislation to kind of handle the trademark name is kind of odd, that's what you're all used to, and how the city handles them. We've just kind of been dealing with them kind of off the cuff, and, well, it's been 30 days, what's your problem? But, that's not a requirement that we require of everyone, so we have to be consistent. So we just need some language to do that, and I think that does it. It's the only things really maybe up for discussion would be some of the time periods, and we just kind of used our best opinions on what those should be based on circumstances, like natural disasters, or if you're moving, you get one, you get a permit for 30 days without any cost or any application. If you need more time, then you need to come submit it to the city. It's just a way to give these guys a way to get them going once they've been there too long.
Okay.
Because we've had some last a year and a half, and we don't want to shut them down because there is a value to them.
Right.
And people use them that way, so we just need some way to manage them.
Okay, so basically what it says, depending on how you're using it, it may be 30 days or 90 days with no fees. So a homeowner needs it for renovation or something, there's not gonna be any cost, and even if,
Well, there is a fee after.
After
there's
a certain period.
probationary period, and we just recommend
but it's $25,
We
so
try
it's,
to do it as low as possible.
yeah,
I
I
think
have
it's
a
real
couple-
customer friendly.
A
yeah.
couple questions. Number 14 in here says, when possible, shall be placed on the driveway or other hard surfaced area and located at least 5 feet from the side property line and 10 feet from any public or private street. The reason I'm asking about this is, we had one of these a couple doors down the street from us that sat there for about at least a couple months, and it was right in the front yard. And what I think I'd like to see is if they're gonna require a permit, in other words, if it's over 30 days, maybe they have to get the location approved. Would that be possible? I mean, I just
You could
don't,
just
I
make
just
it-
don't like to see them right in the front yard.
Well,
mean,
I think depending on the use, it may be hard to put it anywhere else.
Well, you could restrict it to just a hard surface, and that would put it in the driveway. That was the other option we had, but then you've got cars and stuff in and out, then they get put on the street, so we didn't know how restrictive, to go right there, but I'm okay with that. That eliminates a lot of problems for us, is just put it on the driveway. And then you don't have it out in the yard, you don't have it in the side yard, but then a lot of those companies won't put it on a soft surface unless you sign off, because then they gotta come get it. And then it could be a problem messing the yard up, so, if you wanna just limit it to the hard surfaces, that's gonna put it on the driveway, and that then we don't have to do, trying to keep the administration of the permit low too, so
Yeah.
basically just.
How
check
do
it.
y'all feel about that? I don't know,
Try not to
I just didn't
overregulate
like
it.
Yeah.
seeing it right
Yeah.
in the
I don't
front
wanna
yard.
overregulate it.
But it's a problem too, as he was saying, if you have, let's say, damage, and your driveway's here and the damage is here,
Yeah.
now you have to come out of the house and drag it all the way across, and it might be worth somebody's time and effort to sign off and pay to have it moved. Maybe you can make that a special condition.
Well,
If it's
just-
not on the driveway,
Well,
apply for it. I don't know.
Really, if
It's
you
when
wanna
possible.
look at the durations of time for the different uses, and kind of decide how comfortable you are with seeing one for however long, because that's really what they're gonna do. There's moving, and then there's renovations, and then basically a natural disaster, and some go, one is 30 and then 60 days, the other one's 120 days, so whether they're on the driveway or in the yard, they're still gonna be there.
yeah.
So that's kind of what you gotta get comfortable with, but I'm fine with just keeping.
Well, about if you just put a restriction, maximum 30 days if it's not on the driveway, period.
Well, yeah, however you wanna do it.
Yeah,
That,
gives
I'd
them-
feel better about
Because
that.
if, if it's a legitimate issue, they should be in and out in 30 days.
Well, I mean, if you get a natural, if you get
depends.
flooded or something,
Yeah.
and you're waiting for an insurance claim, that's the
Could
one
be.
we
That
had
can-
to do. It was 8
Well,
months.
just a renovation, I mean, I
That
just
alone.
redid my kitchen a couple of years ago, I mean, and it wound up being like 8 or 9 weeks.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the
I mean,
driveway one, I feel comfortable.
They tell you it's gonna be,
Right.
oh, we'll be in and out
Yeah,
of
but
here
how
in
much of
4
that was
weeks.
dragging out the old stuff?
No, but that's not it, you don't use the pods to clean out, it's not a roll-off,
Just-
it's
oh, okay, yeah,
a
just
storage. I
storage.
might have had to
Storage.
store my appliances in
Yeah.
there while they were doing work, it's storage while you're getting the work done, and you're stuck, you could be stuck on that. So I think the purpose of this is that we've got some teeth, we've got a policy so that if something's sitting there too long, that we can,
Do something
we've
at
got
that
some
point.
rules to regulate that. But I think in those short-term periods,
Yeah.
it's kind of one of those things where,
You could
I don't wanna
require that
overdo it.
after the 30 days, if they need to keep it for longer than that, then it has to be on a hard surface. And that would limit the time that it was like floating in the yard that you were worried about.
Yeah.
And then, at that time, they could be restricted to their driveway. That's just an option, or you could move them all.
Yeah.
We don't.
well, y'all think about that so that we can get any kind of adjustments made before it comes up to.
Now, on the, commercial district ones, number, 2 and 3, say they have to be in the designated side or rear yard, and they, can't be visible from the public right of way. I know we have some commercial businesses that around Christmas time, I'm thinking of Dollar Tree for one, and I think Sam's Club maybe, have
We
them.
got Dollar Tree
Huh?
like 2 years in a row for not permitting theirs. Was not right.
Yeah.
They got tickets for that one last year.
Okay, so this
This one
one,
works pretty good. We just haven't, we didn't make any changes on that one, but a lot of those are just, complaint based.
okay,
But
okay.
the Dollar Tree, they play down every year, because they're like, well, I'm a new man.
It's always right in front of the
Yeah.
store, face,
Mhm.
right along 124.
It looks terrible.
Yeah, it does.
We got
Okay.
them last year. Hopefully
Okay.
it doesn't happen again.
Okey-doke.
Okay, so under old business, we have the award of the bid for design and construction documents. The recommendation is for TSW. We can address any kind of questions, or I can give you kind of the form of the motion that I'd like to hear if everyone's so inclined to approve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We good with that, or anybody have any questions or comments or
How much is it?
discussion? The way we'd like it to read is motion to approve TSW for design services and construction documents. For a total contract of, and this is on, this sheet was in the
1/261,
306.
306.
261-306. With the city of Snellville's portion of $922,890. And authorize mayor to sign the contract after Gwinnett County's approval.
Okay, he's got it.
So if we can include those words somewhere in your motion.
Cool.
And I'll have, Butch will just explain a little bit of the process and the selection and exactly what's all involved in this,
Go over how we got to where we are.
where we are. Okay, anybody else have anything on that? Want to discuss? Okay.
Fee schedule attached. Am I
Yeah,
missing that?
it was in there somewhere. But it looks like this.
Okay, that was a separate email,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. I'll just take a quick look, I'm sure it is.
It's the very last page
Uh-huh.
after the pictures.
Apparently I ran out.
I hope it was in there.
It was in there somewhere, because that's where I got it from.
Maybe I ran out of paper,
I'll give you a copy of that.
no worries.
It's the problem with old iPads.
And then we have
That's all.
a nomination for the Arts Commission and for the Board of Appeals. Is Marcy, on the Board of Appeals, Whitney Young, you've vetted her?
Yeah, we did them at the last meeting.
You what?
We did them at the last meeting. There were 3 of them, and we selected Whitney and
Okay, so yes, you did talk to her, okay.
Did you get a fee schedule?
It's after the contract, I'm sorry.
Okay, anybody have anything
I would have
else
to look
for the
to
regular
see.
meetings?
Exhibit B?
We'll go to
You
the
keep
work
going.
session.
You don't have all of it.
I don't have, oh, okay.
Any correspondence?
No, ma'am.
City attorney's report?
This was not on
We
the,
will need a executive session, but I do have one matter that we
Yeah,
probably
that's
need to
okay. I pulled
discuss
off
that's
of
not executive session. And
After the
that
pictures,
is
you have
the,
the contract.
the issue of a free speech zone. And basically, what we're talking about there is that when we are allowing different uses of the town green, when we've got contracts or agreements where an organization has exclusive use of the town green, we need to be able to provide an alternative location where anyone that wishes to exercise their free speech can have a reasonable location to reach that same audience. And that's a decision the city needs to make. It can be, basically a 10 by 10 area, it can be however you want, but typically most of the places use a 10 by 10 area. Things to be important is, you can't control the content of the speech. You can't tell, we can't let certain people not speak. The only exceptions to that is if they are inciting fighting words, then you can, it's time to call the police if that's going on, but.
Brandon
Them's
other-
fighting words.
Yeah.
Brandon Burke.
Other than
We are in the
that,
South.
Yeah.
we just need to have an area. So I think Butch has got an area in mind that he thinks will work, which I think is probably a good idea, a good placement. But go ahead if you want to.
I just wanted to make sure that the market and Kelly, you and staff are on board. And I thought we'd just maybe walk out there after the meeting
Oh,
and
okay.
look at a location. I was thinking on the other side of the driveway, where you talked about first of all.
By that granite bench?
Yes.
Yes.
By the
Give 'em-
porta
there's a little shade there, there's a bench, and we won't mark it off, but I'll designate it on a map and we'll just hand that out.
I think that's fine.
And the thought is that for most of our events, certainly the farmers market, and that 99.99% of the people attending that are driving. You don't really have any walk-up traffic to that, so they'll have the same reach that they would have in the town green as they'd have there. So it seems to be a reasonable option to provide.
Is that the benchmark reasonable?
That is, in that case, it is a TPM, a time, place, manner restriction, which gets intermediate scrutiny by the courts. But we meet all the requirements doing that that way.
Did you?
Yeah, I just had one question. Is it, if more than one party wants to come to that area, is it on a first come, first served basis, or is it limited?
If that becomes an issue, there are, you can actually have people have to sign up to use it, or to, you can even, there are provisions for permitting, if that actually becomes an issue. But I'm hoping that that's not going to be an issue, at least during the farmer's market. Hopefully not. There won't be too much boycotting unless you have some GMO, I don't know, folks, but in favor of that, I don't know. But other than that, yes, if that
I could
becomes
see
an issue.
it potentially during election season, campaign season, that you could have maybe more than
Yeah.
one.
Several churches are reaching out.
Well, that's a fairly large area, so
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know that we've designated it as a 10 by 10.
No, we can make it as big as we want.
bigger than-
We can make it as big as you
Plenty of
want.
room.
But if we don't designate it, if we don't designate size, and we say that's where you go,
We can give them, you can make it bigger and provide for them, absolutely.
I think we'll start with a 10 by 10 though.
You should probably be 150 feet from the city hall building because they do do it in election time.
yeah.
So that they're not encroaching into that.
Mm-hmm.
Is that 150 feet?
Well, that would be kind
You
of,
can get the laser right there.
yeah, that would be kind of different, because most of the
Yeah.
events that would be held,
On
that this is a
Saturday.
concern for, aren't held on election day,
Yeah.
which is really the only,
If they do have to be that, if that's when that
yeah,
occurs.
yeah,
I would think the election law would supersede.
supersede that. Well, and then you've got, the advanced voting period, and they're gonna have to be out.
Well, and again, that is a
That's
a
whole
different time,
can of
place, and manner
worms.
restriction that the election law, and again,
Yeah.
you know, there's what they call legitimate government purpose in doing that, so, but yeah.
Okay,
Cool.
all right, the rest of that will be executive session, and then we've got the update on the projects.
We do have a need for an exec session regarding the town center. Market Library, we're about to put the first phase of that, first approval phase to bed tonight. And the county will do it as soon as they possibly can. It will either be May 1st or May 15th. I'll find out I'll let you know when I hear that. Marketing, Brian, can we have the resolution by next meeting? Purple Heart?
Yeah, I haven't heard back, but I'll push them again, sure.
Okay. The mayor came up with this idea, I guess, after talking to some representatives, but having Snellville become a Purple Heart city. It's a nice recognition. We put up some signs, and I think our Purple Heart veterans will appreciate that. So we'll try to have that resolution next time. Town hall meetings, the very important town hall meeting that the county is holding tomorrow here at 6 o'clock, a public transit meeting where they're getting input from everyone around the county. We definitely want to be heard as to our need in our community for a couple of routes. We have a couple of Greta buses now. We have no Gwinnett County Transit. Hopefully that not only is it's a couple of transit routes from Lawrenceville and then down connecting to Indian Creek, but hopefully that can become what's called bus rapid transit in the future, which is a dedicated route and carries a lot more people with stations, and it's something that the county's looking at. The UDO, I think they're coordinating very well with the comp plan folks. You'll hear more about that as both projects move forward. The roundabout construction, the bids were due on North and Fars today. We have been given the go-ahead to go ahead and let them award that bid, so hopefully we'll see some construction out there in the next 30 to 60 days. I'll let you know what company they award that to and get their schedule as soon as we know. 78 and 124.
But Chuck, I took that, just so you know, I took that sign down, just so that's knowledge.
Good.
I drove by it the other day and it was leaning and ugly, and I called Chuck and said, "Can that sign come down?" And he said, "Yes."
Yes, it can. If you can get it in your car.
There was a progress meeting held the other day about 78 and 124. You can start to see now the entrance lane heading eastbound for Clower. You can see how long it is coming into town on 78. I mean, the idea is to move a lot of people around Clower and avoid that intersection. They're also working on all sections of Clower now. And so we still don't have a really good, Eric, at least I didn't hear it. I didn't hear a good date for when they would really begin in earnest construction on 78. We do have what I call our final new GDOT inspector in place. This is the fourth one in, well, less than a year. But I really think he's going to be the last one.
Until number 5.
He followed up, and it won't be like city attorneys, trust me. So
Start numbering them.
That's not, is he 12 or 13?
Depends on how you count the last row.
Wow.
and Chuck
See,
does
from our
have his
perspective.
own.
Nameplate, wow.
But I think everybody's kind of excited, and right now I feel like we're working well with them, and we'll have as much control as possible there. Business retention, there's really not an update there. The 2017 SPLOST program, one thing about the architectural and engineering contract that hopefully we will award and the county will award, those funds have been put aside in our 2017 SPLOST program. And as I said before, it's a little bit over budget. We budgeted about $239,000 a month, and we're running about $241,000, $242,000. So hopefully that will continue and even get better. Higher education outreach, still awaiting some comments or something positive from our local institutions. Comp plan progress, I think each of you participated in a stakeholder interview. I got very good reports from Jacobs on how that went. They got good input. I think the planning staff probably feeling pretty good about that. And so I'm looking forward to keeping that plan on its tight schedule. Senior center utilization, I will have a guideline and use policy for you at the next meeting. Ordinance development, that's ongoing, as are the discussion about SDS negotiations. It's really the ball's in the county's court. We haven't heard anything, I thought maybe at the next IGR meeting, but I think that's mostly about legislative update.
Yeah, but I think there'll be a little bit of information shared there.
Okay. There will be some county officials there.
When's the next IGR?
May
2nd.
I think it's May 5th. Let me think,
Is it the first Tuesday? First Tuesday is May 1st.
May 2nd, Wednesday, May
Wednesday.
2nd, at 6:30.
May 2nd.
Alan Chapman's gonna be there to talk about the Gwinnett's transit planning. Yeah, report on the General Assembly. Yep. Yeah, there'll be a brief update from the committee, because the
Okay.
committee met
Okay,
on
good.
the SDS.
Good. And the final item there, I will be setting up our small meetings to discuss the FY19 budget. I do have a balanced budget. I've got to go over everything with department heads, but we'll try to get a 3 and a 2 and work around your schedules. So we can do that over the next 2 weeks. That's all I've got.
All right? Everybody good? Okay, with that, we'll
Read
try to
it.
get our exec session in. During the work session of the mayor and city council of Snellville, Georgia, Mayor Pro Tem Bender announced that certain matters should be discussed in the closed session of the meeting and asked